Ladies, welcome to Thrive. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight. So, let me just talk a little bit about Thrive. I'm your host, Crystal Clark, or Crystalis Clark, or CC, or Hey Girl, whatever you want to call me. You know, I'm that chick. So, anyway, I'm here all the way from Virginia. I had a vision over a year ago, actually a year and a half ago. I said, you know what? We need to do something for the ladies. We need to have a ladies' call where we can come together, let our hair down, and just share best practices in business, personally, professionally. And I just wanted to create a forum or a safe haven for us to come together once a month just to meet. And so that's how Thrive was birthed. All right. So we are a year and a half in the game of this call, which is phenomenal. It's absolutely mind blowing to me. We have had some of the top income earners here on this call. We have some rising stars on this call. We've even had people that are outside of Family First Life, motivational speakers, coaches, mentors, life coaches that have been a part of Thrive. So I'm just super excited again to be a part of this and host this Thrive call for you all. I will just kind of let you know that I want everybody to please stay close to the fire. We do have, or I have a big vision, and I've been speaking to several of the other hosts within Thrive about having a women's conference. So I am really like working hard. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. It'll probably be something that we'll plan to do for next year. But all of the ladies that I have talked to are like totally on board. And guess what, ladies? The carriers are on board too. So I'm excited about it. So let's just, y'all stay tuned, okay? Because of course, you all as Thrive ladies will be the first to know as we get this thing rocking and rolling. But it's just so good to see you all show up here each and every week. The numbers kind of go up and down. I know tomorrow's a holiday, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We're going to press through. So tonight I have a lady that I actually met her the beginning of the year, kind of this springtime, whatever. We were at a lock-in together, and I just remember seeing her on social media, you know, just casually. I'm scrolling through Facebook, and boom, I see one of her little, you know, her little things coming up, and I'm like, she's so cute. And then I know she's probably laughing at me. I actually finally met her in Las Vegas at the lockout or the lock-in rather. And I walked up to her, I said, hey girl, I'm Crystal. I do a Thrive call. Don't you want to be a part of my call? You know, we should keep in touch. We should stay connected. And she was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So it's taken a couple of months for us to finally reconnect and get back together. But guess what? She is here tonight. Desiree Blas, I'm sure you have seen her. I'm going to go ahead on and spotlight her. She is all the way from Washington State. Like, oh my God, there are people in Washington State. No, I'm just joking. But Washington State. She's doing phenomenal things in the business. And I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all are in for a treat because she and I are gonna kiki up for real on this call tonight because we kiki like crazy yesterday.
Yeah.
What's going on, Desiree?
Oh my gosh. Wow. What an honor to be on this call to have you guys. And I know it's late over there, it's 7 o'clock, but being in business for yourself, every moment of every hour really matters and how you show up for yourself. So I appreciate you having a space for us ladies. And there's some gentlemen on the call to get together to just talk things through because being a business owner is not easy, but I'd rather go this route than work for somebody else. So I appreciate this
Right.
space and I'm so excited to just get rocking and rolling.
Yeah, let's do it. So as I mentioned, Des is from Washington State. Um, you know, it's so funny. We were talking, and you and I are literally twins, right? We're the
Mhm.
Twin Towers. I'm in Virginia, you're in Washington, and our track is exactly the same. I didn't even realize it when I was talking. I said, wait a minute, why are you like my twin on the West Coast? This is so crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so let's just start off, Des. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in life insurance. Let's just go all the way back and we'll just build up to present moment.
Yeah. So I every time everyone asks me my background is I came from real estate. And it's so funny. And I talked about this today too, because I was on another call, that I just came across an email that my real estate license is going to expire. So I'm at a crossroads of keeping that license. And the thing is, I don't really focus on real estate too much. I do more referral stuff right now. But when I first started, I was an aspiring real estate agent, and I did decent. But as we know, being in real estate, that's like predicated on a market. That wasn't a consistent, sustainable income. That, like, my best month I did in real estate, I sold 5 homes, and it was probably 40 to 50 grand. And that was a nice month, but that's all I made that month. I was still staying at my parents' house. I was like, man, I don't know how the heck I'm going to get out. And it was funny because I found Family First Life through an Instagram post. So everybody on here, people watch your stories. I just want to tell you, even if they don't like it or react to it, there's everyone watching. And if you just post consistently at the right moment, at the right time, somebody's going to respond and say, hey, what you got going on? Because they have something going on in their life that's probably, that's struggling. It's a struggle part of their life. And so that was me. I saw, like, somebody I knew from high school posted, and it was at the right time because I was at a desperate time. I didn't have any other houses in my pipeline. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to make money. Like, I don't know what I want to do. I love real estate, but I wasn't like making that sort of income. And so in real estate, I learned that I love commission-based sales. I didn't want a boss. I wanted the flexibility of of a schedule. But with that takes effort. And so everybody on here, if this is your first commission-based sales gig or you're still trying to figure it out, the hard part's just in the beginning because you're learning how to navigate your self-discipline, how to navigate through rejection. And so I would just encourage you to keep going because nothing else like is better than what you're doing for yourself right now. Like, nothing great comes easy. So every time you get a no-show, you get somebody who hangs up on you, who curses at you on the phone, which we all know it happens, just push through. Push through and develop the skill set you need because you're building your business, you're building your brand, you're not working for somebody else. And so that's where I started. I was in real estate. And my first year, I wasn't that serious. I'm not going to lie. I was like, I couldn't let go of the real estate thing. So for everybody on here too, if you have that plan B, the plan B is holding you back, right? Until you dust your hands off of this and you go full force in this thing, then you're going to start to see a huge shift in your trajectory. And that's how it was for me. I didn't take this seriously my first year. And just like everybody else, I was just navigating how to be a business owner. I was navigating how to become more disciplined and how to invest in my business and treat it like a business. Because you don't really, no one really teaches you that in school. They just say, hey, Crystal, you're going to be a business owner. You're like, what does that even mean? It means you have to invest in your business. You got to show up for yourself every single day, even when you don't feel like it. And you have to ask yourself, hey, did I do everything that I could possibly do to move my business forward? So, that was kind of where I started. And ever since then, it's been incredible. I get to meet incredible people like you, and just to collaborate and just to pour back into people. Because I remember being at that tough spot in the beginning where I wasn't sure. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't see myself here. It took me a little bit, right? So we're all navigating through those things, but you guys are in the right spot with the right team, with the right industry, the right company. So just keep pressing on.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you start off in real estate because real estate is it's a great job. It seems
Mm-hmm.
glamorous. I'm a huge HGTV watcher. And so they always have these real estate, shows, or I like to call them sitcoms because they're kind of
Mm-hmm.
comical, right? All these
Mm-hmm.
different real estate shows, and I like the millionaire ones, right? Because my mindset is if I got in and play, I'm selling $1 million houses. Like, I want to see how the big boys do it. So I'm watching
Right.
Sunset Coast and all millionaire properties and all this stuff, but it's work, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
it's that grind. And I love how you said, hey, I did 5 houses, it was 40,000, but that was it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I know a little bit about real estate. Okay, just a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of friends that are in real estate. You're now a new friend, prior
Mm.
real estate prior, still have your license. That's good. I want to jump on that too. I'm gonna come back to that in a minute. I am. But one thing about real estate is that people don't realize there's a lot of work involved.
Yep.
You have to first of all, you got to get the client. Then you have to list the house. Then you have to show it. Then you have to go through contracting and hope that the person gets approved. Then you have to get the earnest money. Then you have to do the
Mm-hmm.
inspections. Then you have finally, after all that, look, that could be a couple of months. Then you finally close before you're actually in the sale.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that, and I know I probably missed some steps along the way. That's just my overview knowledge of what it does, but look at the process of what it takes to get to that point,
100%. It's freaking,
right?
there's so many hands in the pot. Can somebody put a C in the chat if this is your first commission-based position? Like commission only.
Mm,
Some C's in
right.
the chat. Okay. Okay, cool. And the thing is, whenever you guys talk to like a sales rep or of any other industry, like their solar, pest control, real estate, all this other stuff, you kind of want to know, what is the transaction time? When am I going to get paid? When am I going to get paid? In real estate, like right, like Crystal was saying, there's a client, but you have to find that client. And sometimes, you know how many times you have to meet for coffee before they say, yeah, I want to work with you? There's like all this time that's invested in. And then you take the client, and if they're a buyer, you got to show them maybe 10 to 15 houses driving all over town. And they say, that's the one I want, Desiree. We write a contract. We got to wait for the seller to accept the contract. When you accept the contract, that's when the timeline starts. It's going to take 30 to 45 days for you to close and get paid. In the 30 to 45 days, there's so many other hands in the pot. The lender could mess up. The inspector could say something, oh, we don't want to buy this house. There's something going on with the foundation. There's so many things that could just destroy the contract that you just had, and now you're not going to get paid. And we're all so blessed to be in this industry, because the transaction period's fast here, right? You get a client, you get on the phone with them, you can maybe close a deal in about 40, 45 minutes to an hour. Once they're approved, which we find out right away, they pay their policy, you could get paid 24 hours later. So you could get paid in a 24, 48 hour time span. And it's just between you, the client, and the insurance company. And with the insurance company, we have our underwriting guide. So it's really, there's no limit. There's like nobody else can screw up unless, I mean, you screw up, but then that's how you learn. You just get back on the horse and you just, okay, cool. I shouldn't have said that. Oh my gosh, I forgot that they had COPD. Oh my gosh, I didn't ask for the height and weight. And now and I've done this before. I put a client through and I'm like, I didn't even double check the height and weight, and now they got declined, and now we have to pivot. And you learn through that
Yeah,
process. And so it's so important to like look at those transaction periods, and you're like, wow, I have a lot of wiggle room here to just, you could just make so many deals without having to worry about somebody else screwing up outside of yourself.
right, exactly. And so it's so funny. So on my team, I'm with Undeniable, and we're under Team Invincible,
Hmm.
which is all under national, while we're all here,
Yeah.
right? So we have a morning mindset every morning at 8 o'clock, Des, here on the East Coast. And this morning is so funny. See, I love how God just works things out. We were literally talking about this morning, how do you really want to be happy in your industry? And it was Jim Rohn, if you're familiar with Jim Rohn. He's
Yes.
super old, but oh my God, everything is so relevant to this day, and his stuff is like years and years old.
Hmm.
One of the first things he said is find out how things work, right? Anything
Right.
that you're doing, especially in this industry, we have to find out how things works. And you gave an excellent example of going through the trials and errors, the ups and downs, whether, it old real estate, we're not going to stay on that. But in this business, we definitely have to find out how things work, right? We have
Hmm.
recruiting, we're independent, we have carriers to work with, we have agents to work with, you have your upline, you got your
Hmm.
downline. You got to figure out all these 50 million 11 calls that we have. Then we have these many little lock-ins, and then, oh God, now we got
Hmm.
conference. So, you're just trying to figure out and find out how things work. And so
Right.
for you, I know that one thing and this is what drew me to you, and I saw it in the chat. It was so funny. One of the very first comments, the girl said, oh, top, right?
Yeah.
Something that is working for you. How is the socials really working to you? Talk to me a little bit about, because one thing I know, Des, is I don't know, and I just kind of think is where we are in this, not just in this industry, but just in the world, period.
Hmm.
Everybody wants to be a content creator. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to post socials. Either they absolutely love it or they just, ugh, I don't know,
Yeah.
hate is such a strong word, but they just don't want any parts of it, right?
Right. Right.
Talk to us about how the socials are working for you, because I know they work, because you come across my feed and
Yeah.
I'm looking at you and I'm like, she's so cute. Wait a minute, I like what she said. Let me repost it and let me resend it, and
Hmm.
then, and try to learn. But at the end of the day, it's part of the work, right?
Yeah, it
Talk,
is.
talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in our industry, and here's another thing too, because it really hit me. I don't know. I listened to a podcast, and then I also reflected on how I found the industry. I found it through social media, which is
Socials,
just
yeah.
free marketing. And I personally don't really like going on social media myself because I get down this rabbit hole and then now I'm unproductive. But the thing is, even though I don't like it, this is what we need to do in our industry. That's free marketing. There's people actively on there 24/7, and I don't want to take that opportunity away from someone just because I don't like it. So in the beginning, when I first noticed, I was like, man, I have to get on social media just because that's how I found it. And like, this is, and I want you guys to write this down, but your personal branding through social media, this is your digital reputation, right? People are going to Google you before they even work with you, right? That's just how it is. That's just how it is in our century of time. And I could give you an example, and I'll go back to how I've been like branding myself through social media. But I remember I did telesales for the first time because I first started off going in home when I came in. So I was going, meeting Bob and Mary across the table, all that stuff. And I was trying to get into virtual sales, which is what we do now, right? Almost like 98% of Family First Life is probably over the phone. And I remember I was on the phone and the client who was in their 80s Googled me while I was on the phone with them. And I didn't update my marketing. And they were like, it says you're a real estate agent. You said you do insurance. And so that's when I was like, oh my gosh. And I honestly think I lost the sale or they got spooked or something happened where I was like, I had this shift of like, I need to get everything in order because people are going to research me. And if it's not aligned with what I'm doing, it it doesn't add up. So social
Yeah.
media is your digital reputation. You don't need fancy cameras or anything. Your iPhone's going to do just fine, but make sure that your branding is aligned with what you're doing here, right? Put financial, financial specialist, life insurance agent, whatever you want to do, life insurance agency owner, and just make sure that is consistent with what you're doing because people will research you. It doesn't matter how young or how old they are. That's just what we do, right? They're going to Google you. They're going to find your Instagram page. They're going to find you on TikTok. They're going to do all this other stuff. So that's when I realized the power of social media. Um, Even though I didn't like it, I it's a free resource, and I would just suggest again to just copy what people are doing. Go on my page, copy what I'm doing. Search up Crystal's page, like just look at what the most popular views are in whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, and just copy what they're doing because people are going to watch. And now your first couple of posts, they're going to be very uncomfortable. But the biggest thing is what I'll tell to you is just be consistent, stick with the plan. Right. So if you're going to start Priscilla and you're like, okay, cool. Des said to start on social media and be consistent. What is your plan going to be? Just like anything else, it doesn't have to be 5 days a week. If you want to start with 3, just do 3. Just do 3, right? Do 3 posts and just draft it out and then just consistently post. And maybe your first few weeks, it's going to be rocky, just like dialing on the phone. It's going to take a little bit. And then boom, now you have a consistent, schedule going. And I would post on your story every day because when people see you, they trust you, right? So just think about your favorite character, right? Your favorite movie character or like TV show. I'm not gonna lie, I love Harry Potter. I don't know if anyone loves Harry Potter out there. And so like I would trust Hermione Granger with my life, but I've never met her, right? That's the same thing when people see your face on social media, they start to be like,
Yeah.
dude, I know Desiree, but I've never met you, Priscilla. Maybe I have. I think maybe I have, but like, you know what I mean? She's like, oh my gosh, I know Des. And the
It's a familiar
power,
face.
yes,
Yeah.
that's so powerful, and you don't have to worry about what the heck am I going to post, are they going to like it? Just post and you'll develop to get better. And again, it's such a powerful thing because people, when they see you, they start to trust you. If they trust you, they'll do business with you, they'll buy from you, or they'll work with you. And if you don't, you're going to get left behind because everyone else is doing it. Like if someone were to search me up and I didn't start, but then Crystal's all over their social media page, and let's say we both interview them, they're going to go her. She has a lot more
Mhm.
credibility that way, right? So that's the power of that. And when I started, I wasn't good at it. I just Googled, use ChatGPT. That's a free resource. What do I do when I start posting? And I was just copying and then I would search people. And then it got to the point where I was like, man, I gotta, because for us, we have to produce for ourselves and we have to train agents. And it got to the point where I just set aside a small budget and I hired someone to do content for me. That's the beauty of this
Mhm.
industry. You can make enough money and you outsource that because I didn't want to think about it anymore. Now I'm like, yo, I know I have to do it. And if I overthink it, then I'm not going to do it. But I had to start from the trenches first. And then you're making income in your business and you set aside a budget and you talk to someone. You're like, hey, can you just start posting for me? Okay, let's regroup. Okay, let's change this. This is working. This is not working. So that's what I would say, whether you like it or not. It's the new digital reputation and you got to get with it and just start getting good at it. And how you start is just start tomorrow. Start tomorrow. Post on your story,
Yeah.
hey, or post us right now. Hey, we're doing the Thrive call, right? And that's people are gonna be like, wow, I want to be a part of what Des is doing. I want to be a part of what Priscilla's doing. And you just start
Yeah.
from there and be consistent. And consistency breeds credibility and it breeds trust. So no matter what, just start.
I love it. It's so funny, and I love your transparency. For those of us, drop a one in the chat if social media sometimes gets on your nerves, right?
Mm,
It can
mhm.
just it can get on your nerves like, OMG. It's real live trash content. That's what
It
my mom
really
calls
is.
it.
Yeah.
It's just live trash. She said, I don't need to go on TV. All I gotta do is pull up Facebook or Instagram or, whatever, TikTok. And my mother is obviously older, so it scares me to think that she even knows what a TikTok is. So that's a whole nother
Right.
conversation. But to your point, 80-year-old texting, seeing who
Mhm.
you are. And it's so funny. I literally had that happen to me today. It happened today. I was on the phone with a gentleman and he
Mhm.
said, "Well, see you on socials. You look nice. I like your
Mhm.
stuff." And I'm like, freaky,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, "This is crazy." But that's the real world. That's where we are.
Mhm.
So I love your transparency. It's free marketing. We got to use it. So
Mhm.
Des, I know that you are building a team. Of course, you're doing all telesales, not
Mhm.
just probably like an extremely small group of people that are still kind of in the field, but I know you're doing telesales. Talk to us a little bit about with your socials and now building your brand and working in this industry. How is it coming? How is the team building going? Talk
Yeah.
about the challenges. I'm gonna let you just let it rip. Like talk about the
Yeah.
challenges, talk
Yeah.
about your leads,
I
all of that
gotcha.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me to know who's like new here, it's your first like 90, I mean 3 to 6 months, like you're still in your first year, put an N in the chat for me so I know where people are
Yeah,
at.
all the newbies. Look at the
Right?
newbies.
There's a lot of people. Wow, lots of new people, right? And there's obviously seasoned people. So if like for the new people who maybe they haven't been to conference, they haven't been on that many calls, the biggest thing to understand, and you could write this down, is that there's two ways to make money in this industry. Number one is your personal production, which is great. That is your highest ROI. You make a sale, right? One sale could lead to $1,000, whatever the case may be. That's great. The second way to make money, and this is how you build passive income, is by building a team. All right. And the thing is, I don't want to be an insurance salesperson for the rest of my life. So what does that mean? I got to build a team. As hard, quote unquote, hard as it may be, that's what's required to build passive income. So I'll give you an example. For people who know Marissa Mazziotti, she is, she's trained me. She's my mentor. Her agency does, I think, 2 million, close to 2 million a month. She hasn't sold an insurance policy in like 2 years, right? But she's still earning all this income. But for most of us right now, we have to get on, we have to sell Bob and Mary, we get them a policy, we get paid, right? And I love that we could build a legitimate business that pays us passive income by building a team. So what does that require? You to recruit, to hire, train, and develop leaders. And that's what it means by building a team. When I was new, I didn't really think of building a team. I was so consumed with myself. And raise your hand if that's where you're at too. Hey, Crystal, I don't want to recruit anyone because I just got to figure this out for myself. That's my biggest regret. And you'll hear people say, "Hey, what was your biggest regret?" It's because I didn't start soon enough. And I was one of those people. I was in my own head. I was like, "Nah, I'm going to figure this out. Don't talk to me about recruiting. Like I'm good." Because I didn't know the power of what recruiting could do. And then also, I was told, "Hey, that's kind of selfish that you would think that your success is predicated on somebody else's success that you hire, because this is an independent business. They could come in here and do better than you, and you're like actually saving them. We're saving them from poverty. It's so you have to look at it from a different way, because most people are like, salesperson, I don't want to talk to them about it. I don't want them to think this is like an MLM or whatever. And it's not, because they have the same. We're all here for a reason, right? We're all here because we left what the heck we were doing before. We weren't paid what we were worth. We wanted something more. We wanted to build our career and plant our flag and build our business. We're all here for a reason. What makes you think that your cousin or your sister or your brother doesn't want the same kind of opportunity, or the guy at the grocery store or at Target? And you just have to plant your seeds and just talk about it. Hey, are you married to what you're doing right now? Or hey, what are you doing right now? Do you like working here at Starbucks? Is this kind of where your career is? And most people, they're in a transitionary period. They were also stuck. So just think about having that conversation. But I used to get in my own way about it. And now when I realize the power of like recruiting and then also training, you're truly helping individuals, because it's changed my life and I know it's changed your life. So like, why not
Absolutely.
spread the news to other people? Don't get in your own way about that, because there's somebody who desperately needs it, just like me on the other side of that Instagram post. I needed it. Did I need it when I
Yeah.
sold 5 homes? No. But the timing of you being consistently talking about what the heck you're doing, it builds trust with somebody. So like always, always, when people are like, "Damn, Des, you're still doing that real estate thing or that insurance thing?" hey, tell me about it. Wow, you're still posting that? And then something happens with their boss, someone pisses them off, they get laid off. There are people who get laid off from like Microsoft, Amazon, Boeing, these big corporations. People are getting laid off all the time. And you're just, if you're consistently posting and you're consistently talking about what the heck you do, they're gonna they're going to be jumping on it. They're going to say, hey, you've been doing this thing for a while. Like I'm broke or I need a way. And you give them that opportunity. And that just starts with you just letting people know how it's changed your life. Right. And let's say you're brand new and maybe you haven't, sold enough or made your money back or whatever. And you're still like in the new phases. This is why we have your mentor, whoever your manager is, they would gladly help train your new recruit until you could get on your feet. And that's the power of that. You don't have to be like a top producer to start recruiting. Start right now. If you're taking your coursework, you're in your first 30 days, start right now because it could truly change somebody else's life and you have help. So that's like a huge thing. It took me a while to get there. And then now that I've been like, posting on social media and people are like, hey, can you tell me more? I do like interviews because I think what matters is just setting that expectation up front. So if I was like, hey,
Absolutely.
Priscilla, did you watch the videos? So this is what I do. I think of it as like a big test. If you slid up on my DMs and you said, hey, I would like to know more about the industry. I'm like, cool, here's a video, watch this video, right? Because I'm testing to see if they could follow instruction, right? Hey, watch this video and then go ahead and book a Zoom interview with me. I want to see if they could get on Zoom during the interview, because if they can't get on Zoom in the interview, how are they going to get on Zoom to train, right? So everything's like a test. And then for the people who make it, and I'll give you an example, like I'm starting to do group interviews now, and I had 10 people register and only 2 showed up. So they tend to weed themselves out just in that 2-phase process without actually meeting, because I only want to work with committed individuals who are like super serious about that. And it tests to see, hey, can you follow instruction? Are you coachable? Are you serious? Did you just see something funny on TikTok and thought, hey, is this it? Because I want to work with people who are serious, right? Because it takes commitment to find success here. Because if you're not committed and you get no-showed and you quit, then let's just avoid that. Let's not waste each other's time at the same time. So for the people who make it in there, I'll do an interview with them. I'll say, hey, Micaiah, did you end up watching the video that I sent? And they'll say yes or no, right? Most of the time people say yes, they might lie about it. And I'll say, great, tell me something, your favorite part about the video. And that's when you could tell when people are like, and I'm like, hey, did you watch the video? No. I'm like, great, let's go watch the video and text me back if you're serious. And I just say that, right? And I'm like, because I'm not going to re-explain what you could have watched in the video. Because again, I'm just testing them. Did you actually follow through with what I said? And so far, so forth, so far and so forth. But anywho, after that, let's say they watched it. And then I'm just setting expectations. And I just say, hey, Crystal, like, and I'm just talking to them, hey, we're commission only. Have you ever been in commission only? And I kind of go through the process. And then I just start talking about us being a lead-based business. Like, hey, all of our agents invest in leads. So you are a business owner. Is this your first time owning a business? Yes. Okay. The biggest struggle is treating this like a business, right? And so all our agents, they invest in leads. And then so I just start giving that analogy, because I was a very inconsistent agent my first like 6 months ish. I was the bad agent. I was like, okay, I'm going to try and do
Say
everything
it
possible.
again, Des. Say it
I was a
again.
bad agent. I was inconsistent. I was not buying leads when I was supposed to. I wasn't showing up to the training calls. I would start dialing and it would take me all day to start dialing and not dialing all day. That was me. I would go to the gym at 10 a.m. and I only made 50 dials, and I'm like, no wonder why I'm broke, right? So I'm trying to help set that expectation. And something that really changed the game for me is that when someone was like, hey, you're a business owner. Every business owner needs inventory. Your inventory are leads. If you do not restock your shelves, no one is going to buy your stuff and you're not going to be profitable. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was like a light bulb that just kind of went off. And I was like, no wonder why I'm going through this toxic cycle of like making money, not making money, because I wasn't consistently investing in my business. Right. And so that's what helped me after that. And I was like, cool. And then you just have to learn that struggle. But I talk to people about that. I say, hey, are you comfortable investing in your business? Like that's what we do. And if they don't want to, then I don't work with people who aren't willing to invest in their business. Now, if they don't have enough money for leads, I'll say, hey, this is what I'll tell you. I was broke when I started, and I said, you either make an excuse or you make a way. So I went and I helped my immediate family get insurance. Like my mom, my dad, my grandma didn't have any insurance, my uncles, my aunts, and thank goodness I didn't have money for leads, because it forced me to go talk to them. And I took all that money and I dumped it back in my business. So I don't want people to think, oh my gosh, she's not going to hire me because she doesn't have, money for leads. No, 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 no. Just make a way, because this product is so important to people, right? Death is so expensive. And to be completely honest, when I got in the industry, I had no clue how much a burial was. And I'm like, dang, I've been to so many funerals and I had no clue people spent 15 to 20 grand on a burial. That
Yeah,
death bill is going to your family. And I didn't know, because I didn't have to
yeah,
pay for it. And so when
yeah,
you meet the reality of that, it's not sales anymore. It's like, hey, you're gonna die. Your family, even if they have that in their savings, you want your daughter to dig through her savings to pay for your funeral. And you just learn how to have that conversation. And so I watch when people come in and I'm like, great, you didn't have enough money for leads. What's your game plan now? Because I already gave them somewhat of a solution. And if they're uncomfortable and they phase themselves out, then that's the reality. But it's not really sales to me. And so I'll go through that in the interview process. I'll let them know, hey, you're going to get rejected. 90% of first year agents quit because they can't stand the rejection. Just please know you're going to get told no more than yes. And that's just part of the process. And I always tell people, like, I'm not that good. I don't think I'm that good with sales. I just get more leads. I'm a lead junkie. I'm like, great. They said no, I'm going to get more leads. I don't take it personal. I'm like, cool, move on. Okay, next. Okay, next. And the thing is, the biggest part that I tell with people, like, rejection, like, successful people, they just get rejected more often than unsuccessful people, because the unsuccessful person will just fall down and never get back up. Or they might take a week or 2 weeks, versus the successful person, they get back to baseline a lot faster. Okay, next. Okay, cool. It took me a minute. Let me go walk outside for 30 seconds. Okay, cool. I'm back at it. Let's go. Right? And they're just going. And they're just going. And you're gonna get rejected. You might buy 100 leads. 50 of them tell you to F off. You talk to 50, or you probably won't even talk to the other 50. You'll probably talk to 20 of them, maybe book 10 appointments, 5 no-shows, 6 no-shows, maybe. You talk to 4 people, 3 of them say screw off, and then 1 of them you sell. That's just like the reality of it. And as you get
all
better,
numbers. Yeah,
it's all law of large numbers. And I think explaining that to new agents, it helps them. But then when they're in the thick of it, they're like, oh, this is what you meant. This is what you meant by it was going to be hard, right? This is what you meant. But our job's not physically hard, it's mentally hard, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys know people who worked 10 to 12 hours, or we got people in the medical profession working on holidays. There's probably a lot of your friends who are nurses working tomorrow, working on Christmas, working every other weekend, physically helping people pumping septic tanks, help doing stuff on the roof, union members, people who are they physically have to go to work, and our job is not physically hard. It's just mentally hard. And that's all we do. We just build that mental muscle. So I go over all of that and I just see how they respond to it. And then my golden question that I ask at the end, I'll say, hey, Micaiah, now after going through all of that, be very honest with me on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay. 1 is like, I'm not sure. I'm going to keep looking around. And 5 is like, hey, let's get rock and rolling today. I need to get my license. Where are you at? And just be very honest with me. And then I only work with people who say, hey, I'm a 5 out of 5. And if somebody's like a 3 or they're a 4, I'll say, hey, well, Micaiah, tell me what would take you from a 3 to a 5? What is that? Because I want to know what is bothering them. Like, what is it their own disbelief? Is it their own limiting beliefs, or is it money, or is it let's address it now? And then I'll address it and I'll say, great, where are you at now? 5 out of 5. Cool, we could move on. And if they're like, still a 3 out of 5, I'm like, hey, why don't you go mull it over? Here's my number. Text me once you're a 5 out of 5. I only work with committed people because it takes commitment here to find success, yada, yada. And that's like the last question I'll end with. And then we kind of go from there. But that's kind of my interview process. I just like tell them, I just set up the expectations like, hey, this is what it looks like, but you could work from anywhere. We could get licensed in all 50 states outside of New York. I mean, we could still sell in New York, but we don't really do that. But I could be on the beach at Hawaii and I could sell somebody in New Jersey, right? We have unlimited ways to make income here at any point of time, and it's really what you make it. So, I'll mentor you throughout the way, and I tell people I meet you where I'm at. I'm not going to micromanage you. I'm not going to carry you on my back to success. I'm not going to say, hey, Priscilla, you're not on Zoom. Where you at? Hey, you're not on the Thrive call. Where you at? No, I want the people who are going to show up, who are self-motivated no matter what, and then that way they can lead themselves as they develop. So I know that was a mouthful, but that's kind of like my process right there. Yeah.
no. I just want to set the stage because I need people to know. Des, how tall are you?
Yo, I'm 5'2".
Des is a little thing, okay? She's a little spitfire, and I love it. Because when I met you in Vegas, it was so funny. Like we were all at Top Golf, after dialing massively for like what
Yeah.
2 days, 48 hours straight,
Exactly.
felt like it, right? So we all just decompressed and went to Top Golf, and we were all sitting on the couch. It's like the little thing, it's just like the littlest thing. But but no, you're spitting hot fire, as the kids
Yeah.
say. It's just straight fact. I just want to kind of go back to a couple of things. One, I think it's really important for us just to be reminded that, and I hate to say this because we don't think about it until it actually happens or hits close to home, how much funerals really cost.
Mm,
And the cost is one thing, but let me just give it to you straight. There's a whole other side that people forget. The funeral homes, unlike other industries, there is no pay as you go. They want all their money up front
mhm,
before you do anything. So we have the opportunity to not just protect families, but when that devastation happens, we can ensure that that check's going to get cut immediately. We work with A1 carriers and we're on it, right?
yep,
So that's one thing that I want everybody just to remember. And secondly, I love how you talked about the toxic cycle. Like, we just go through these things over and over again. We talk ourselves in it, we talk ourselves out of it. It's just that toxic cycle, but either you're going to make excuses or you're going to make a way. I love
yep,
it. Like, and I think that all the ladies up here, we want to make a way, right?
mhm,
Being the one thing about Thrive, and I say this probably just about every call, is that because we're women, we wear so many different hats. All right. I mean, we're mothers, we're fathers. Some of us are single parents, so we're both, right?
mhm,
We are aunties, we're the daughter, we're the sister, we're the doctor, we're the cook, we're the
mhm.
psychologist,
We're the
we're the
therapist,
we're the therapists, like, all the time, right? We're the financier. Some of us are the breadwinners. Like, we do so many things. And so that balance is everything for us. So talk to us a little bit about, and I'm gonna open it up because there were a couple of questions that I saw in the chat. So I'll make sure I'll go back and capture those. But talk to us about your journey. When you and I spoke the other day, like I said, I kind of laughed. Our journeys are very parallel. You and I both were pressing for Hall of Fame this year. I believe our numbers are very close. We are
Mhm,
literally like right, checkerboard management is kind of funny. I'm on one coast, you're on another, but we're both pushing to do this thing. You've been in 3 years, so have I. I
mhm.
don't think you knew that, but we came in the same time. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy how it's working. But one thing I know also, Des, that you and I have in common, we ain't quit, girl. We still here.
Mm-mm,
We
mm-mm.
are still here on this thing,
Yep,
making it happen. And I love the fact that, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we make mistakes. Eh, eh, We're not perfect, but
right.
we get up and we do this every day. What is your drive? What is you now in a place where you're like, you know what? It doesn't matter how bad yesterday was. I
Yeah.
know today and every day forward, I'm still going to grind. I'm still going to do this thing. What has you set and focus to make it happen?
Man, there's a number of things. And I don't know what, most of you guys believe in, but I'm a Christian. I love my Lord and Savior. And I grew, it's so funny because I was raised Catholic, like, and I never really like resonated with Catholicism. Like it's very, I don't know if you guys have been to a Catholic mass. It's like sit up, sit down, you have to dress nice. My grandma was like
Yeah.
a diehard freaking Catholic. She still is. And she's like, if you don't go to church on Sunday, you're grounded. So like I would go and I went through all the sacraments and stuff, and I never really developed a relationship with God. I was just like, okay, I'm just doing what I'm told. And then it's funny because when I started in the industry, I started to go to like a Christian church and I started seeking a stronger relationship with God as I was navigating through uncertain times. And whatever you guys believe in, I truly, truly think that when the going gets tough, we're not made to be comfortable. We're not made to just live this like coastful life because growth always happens on the other side of discomfort. And in the beginning, I didn't really know that. And so when you start to realize like you will expand as you go through hard things, you're going to keep going through hard things as long as it's going according to your goals. And so it's for me, I just always wanted to be the best version of myself as I could be, right? I don't want to go to the end of my life and God's like, "Hey, you could have been this." And people talk about that. Goggins talks about that. Like Ed Milet has talked about that. Like at the end of their life, they want to know that did I do everything I
Yeah.
could to be the best version of myself? And so there are days where sometimes I don't want to be the best version of myself, but then I just remind myself like I don't want to live this life just coasting through. Like I want to push myself every day. I want to expand. I want to help people. I want to do the best that I can. And this industry allows you to do that. And I mean, there's a number of things. I'm from a very large family. Like I'm one of five. I have like 9 nieces and nephews I freaking care about. I don't have any kids of like my own. I have like a dog, but
Girl,
like I
did you
love
say
my
9?
family. 9
You
nieces and
said 9?
nephews. Yes,
What? Get
I
out.
know. Yes, and they're all like from age 11 all the way down to 3. I think I have twin nephews and they're 3. And like so every time we get together, I just see like I love my nieces and nephews like they're my own kids. And it's just being able to show them that you could create your own future, I think is so important. That hey,
Mhm.
and as I start to like I have like my sister who's on the call, I have a cousin that I've hired, I have like 2 of my sisters, and I keep telling them like, guys, we make this thing work. We could build a compound for our family. Like we could get a whole neighborhood. We could freaking get like we could all live right next to each other if we just freaking buckle down and do it. What else? Where else can we do that? Nowhere else. We could build this
Right.
thing together. And you know, and that's the thing. I just want to show them like, hey, the world is your oyster and you get after it if you just freaking believe and you push past all these limitations that people put on you. And I didn't know that until I got into this industry. Even in real estate, I was still hesitant. I wasn't that confident. And I get here and I'm like, yo, this is crazy what you could do
Yeah.
here if you just keep going. And here's the cheat code. It's like you'll never fail unless you quit. Never. You will never fail unless you choose to quit. If you keep going and you keep going and you start building, you start developing,
Damn.
you're freaking going to like this is the best industry ever. Like, and there's going to be days where, like I said, your client curses at you, you miss a sale, you get a chargeback. We're all going to get those things, but I wouldn't do this for anyone else. Like, this is my business. I'm like, great, let's pivot, let's learn, let's grow from this experience. I don't look at a loss as a loss. I look at it as a learning experience. And it's really how you look at things. And that's why like the agency's called paradigm. Because if you have that paradigm shift or you look at things from a different perspective or like you it's that's all it is the glass half empty or is it half full? And you just have to change that mindset every single day. Because it doesn't matter if you're in this industry, there's always life always throws some stuff at you. And the thing is, if you just develop that mindset, you're unstoppable. So I mean, I know that was like and basically I just want to be the best version that I could be. I want, people to I want my nieces and nephews to see something like that. Oh, I could do that too and
Yeah.
just to help other people. And I know it starts with you at the end of the day. So,
Absolutely. I love it. I do want to open it up for questions. Let me scroll up. I did see a couple of things. And I think it's so cool that you have so many nieces and nephews. I'm the oldest of 6.
yeah.
And because I am the oldest, I had my children first. My children are substantially, and I do mean substantially older than all of their now. I'm just now starting to become an aunt.
Yeah.
Just to
That's
give you the
awesome.
perspective of the range. And it's so funny because you talk about, your nieces and your nephews, and you really just want to be the example for them. One of the things that we talk about on our team is we want to be the legacy. We are the person. Are you that person in your family? Like, I know I'm
Mm,
that person in the family. I'm the hub in my family, the millionaire, all this stuff, and now I'm
mhm.
finally getting to be an auntie, which is cool. So it's like, yeah, but I find myself, don't get me wrong, everybody knows I love my kids, but I find myself doing so much for my nieces because it took me so long to get them.
Yeah.
They're 2, they're 2, well, my niece will be 2 the middle of this month, and then my baby niece is like 4 months old.
Wow.
So I am just I do so much for them because, my children they think they're adults, but they're adults. So,
Yeah.
it's crazy but it doesn't matter. It's not about us. It's
Mhm.
about someone else. So just reminding us of that why is
Right.
so important, right? That's what makes
Right.
me get up. That's what makes us go. So let's open up for questions. Before I don't want anybody to unmute. I want everybody to drop your questions in the chat, but I'm gonna go back up because there was a couple of questions that we missed. And I'm also going to post my number in the chat because I want to make sure that everybody knows my public service announcement that we do have a Thrive Ladies group in the WhatsApp. So if you want to be a part of the group, please text me. I will drop it again in the chat. I'm doing the wrong thing, Des. I
Yeah.
took off my cool glasses.
No,
Sorry.
no, no.
Okay.
While you're looking at that, I was actually going to say one more thing that really helped me when I started. is that when I started and I would watch these podcasts, is I don't know, I just would see like people on stage. I'm like, man, I can't do that. And it wasn't until I was like, wait, if that person could do it, then I could do it, right? We all put on our pants the same way. There's nothing like you guys see me on this call. There's really nothing special about me. I just work really hard and I care about people and I care about, just getting better and growing. And if you have those things, like the world, you could do anything that you want. So it wasn't until I was like, why do I keep putting this limit on myself? Like thinking, I can't do what Marissa does on stage, or I can't do what, Amaka's doing on stage, or whatever it is. It's like, no, you can do it, right? We all put on our
Absolutely.
pants the same way. And it took me a little bit because I was the one putting a limit on myself. But something that I'll say too, because we all tend to have these thoughts. And I heard this on a podcast. I think it was a Pastor Stephen Furtick that said this, and he was talking about it. But like, if you guys notice, right? So like, let's say I'll bring a new agent in and I'm like, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? And they're like, oh, I can't. And like, oh my gosh, I can't do this or I can't do that. And they start to give reasons of why they can't do things, right? It starts with you, right? If you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Just remember, you don't
Mm,
want to be backing your
absolutely.
limitations. You want to be, even if, and people, sometimes people get annoyed because someone will say something and I just flip it. I'm like, no, but you can do that because this, that, and the other. And they're like, man, I just want to complain. I'm like, nope, don't get that around me. Right. Because I'm trying to condition myself to just break all those limitations because it honestly starts with you. Right. So if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Catch yourself every time you keep saying, oh, I can't get leads this week. Oh, I can't dial the phone. Oh, I can't go to that appointment, or blah, blah, blah. I can't get on the call, blah, blah, blah. And just catch yourself. So that was a huge game changer for me. I like wrote that down. I was like, okay, cool. If I argue for my limitations, I get to keep them. So just catch
Exactly.
it, right? So
Yeah.
anyways, you could go on with the questions. I just wanted to
No, I
to leave you
love
guys
it.
with
I love
that.
it because I think that, we again, ladies, we wear so many hats. We forget that our mindset is everything. I
Mm-hmm.
get up every morning, I'm telling myself how fabulous I am. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
boss chick, and you better watch out because God blessed me with another day to
Yes.
be here. So you better get ready for it, right? And it's just, it's that Rocky moment. I'm not a guy, but I'm just saying I'm pumping myself up
Yep.
because we know adversity is there. We don't have to go
Mm-hmm.
look for it. So you might as
Mm-hmm.
well armor yourself up and get your mind ready for the warfare that you're about to face. So I
Yep.
love it. One question that was brought up in your content, in your postings, would it be your advice? Would you want to start a new page, or would you just use your regular page, just who
Yeah.
you are?
Regular
Answer that.
page. I would say
Regular page.
regular page because sometimes people don't want to see
Because it's you, right?
life insurance, right? And I'll give
Yeah.
you a pro tip for Instagram right now, and this is what I learned, and it's very helpful. I would say, so everybody who has an Instagram, if you don't, just get an Instagram, because you could link Instagram to Facebook and boom, double whammy. You're posting. You want to be all over the board. So on your Instagram and even on your wherever there's a story, because I think you can even do stories on YouTube. It's crazy. But I would say post on your story every single day, even if you're not posting. So a post is like, a picture that's like different. So the post is different than your story. Okay. So if you are going to post, let's start with 3 days a week. You're actually going to make a post, but then on your story, you're going to post every day. And here's 4 key things that you could post on your story. Number one, start with your face. So you could be, I don't know, like people that if you post first with your face on your story, people are more inclined to go engage in your profile. So post of your face, you could do like a selfie, you could do a video, you could be talking, hey, I just went to the gym, blah, 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 right? The second thing is post something of value on your story. It could be quotes. I love posting like motivational quotes. I'll just repost it. So people, you're providing value to the audience. Number three will be your work ethic. So this is where you're posting the Thrive call, you post closing a deal, you post an agent. And then the fourth thing is something about your lifestyle. So you and your kids, you and your dog, something that again, that's not work, to show that you're a human being, you're a normal person, you're not just work, 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 work all the time. And so that creates like diversity within your stories. They're like, wow, Amaka posts something of her face, then oh wow, she took her dog on a walk. Wow, she has a family. And then, wow, that's a great motivational quote she quoted from Jim Rohn, right? And they see that, and that helps a lot. So post from I think having a personal, I don't like to manage two different accounts. I'm just like, yo, if your people from your old high school are on your profile, because I got recruited from someone I went to high school with that I didn't even talk to. And if he had a separate business page, I wouldn't have followed it. So I think just start rebranding your current profile and start from there. I wouldn't want to manage two different pages, and then you have to build a following and all that stuff. And again, people like to see that you're a normal human. It's not just insurance, 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 insurance.
Absolutely. Now, question, as far as your actual work, what leads do you typically are you
Mhm.
dialing? What do you work through with
Yeah.
regarding that?
So majority of my sales come from IUL leads, and then we're just getting new agents started with vet leads. So vet final expense leads through obviously with Mike's stuff and a CRM center. They have great freaking veteran final expense leads. But for me personally, I do IUL leads. Mhm.
Gotcha. And any other questions, ladies? Not too many questions. You said a lot. You did. I love your 4 points, by the way, starting with the
Yeah.
face,
Yeah.
and then now it goes away from the face into everything else, something of value,
Yes.
the work ethic, family,
Mhm.
all those things. I think it is great because one thing about, I was listening to a pastor the other morning and he talked about, he said, the problem with this society is that we have filters.
Mhm.
And the thing with filters is that they're good, they clean you up, they make you look good, but who's the person really behind the mask? So
Yeah.
when you allow yourself, if you go through the points the way you said it, you're showing that work ethic, you're giving some motivational quotes. That kind of takes it doesn't the filters won't matter. They get to see the other sides or the other dimensions of you. And
Right.
I know that Des, I will want to work with you. I've seen your content, I've seen your posts, I have met you in person, but if I never did, and I just saw you, I would be like, yeah, I gotta at least reach out. I gotta see if, is she really like doing all this stuff? I mean, I see the diversity, I see the family, I see her walking on the
Mhm.
treadmill behind the desk. I see the little that's the
Yeah.
cutest one, by the way. I see all these things, but I'm like, she's a real person, she's relatable. That's what we want to see. So, ladies, as you're posting, as you're putting yourself out there, first of all, we all look good, right?
Mhm.
I think honestly, for us as ladies, it's a little bit easier for us, either a guy's gonna like our hair, they're gonna like our skin, I'm just saying, we're women. We were built for beauty, right? We were built to be adorable and to be attractive. So we already have a foot in the door. We just got to use it, but in a professional manner so that it works to our advantage. So
Right.
I love that. Any questions, lady, for Des before we wrap it up for tonight?
Yeah, so
Okay.
game plan, I saw Andrea or Andrea's comment
Yeah,
there. I
Andrea.
would say Andrea, perfect. I
Yeah.
would say just make a content plan. So you could start with posting 3 posts a week. So like whether it be a reel or a picture or whatever, but every day commit to posting on your story. And then those are those 4 key points. Like on your story, if you're like, Des, I don't know what to post, start with your face, whether it be a picture or video, something about your lifestyle. So like, you walking your dog, hanging out with your kids, going bowling, whatever it is, something about your work ethic, you go into the office, you being on Zoom, being on a team call. And then the 4th thing is something of value to the audience. So like it could be a motivational video. It could be, Jim Rohn speaking about something or a motivational quote. And you do that every day, just start. And then if you're not sure what to post, just chat GPT it. It's free or Google. Google has AI now for free. So there's always something, but people just fail to act. And that's something that resonates a lot with me. Like, and Tony Robbins says this, he says, people always say that knowledge is power, but honestly, knowledge is potential power. The real power lies within execution. And I've said that on different calls because it really matters. It's like, you guys, we could learn all these things, we could read the script over and over, but until you get on the phones, until you actually act, that's where the power is. It's just consistent action.
Absolutely. Consistency is key, ladies.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Des. I tell
Mhm.
you, listen, y'all, 5'3", 5'2". I ain't messing with her.
Oh, I love you
Listen,
guys. This
girl,
is
I'm just
great.
gonna be ready to lock arms with you in Texas when we walk this stage and get this jacket. I already got my shoes ready. I'm just ready.
Uh-huh.
I just need the jacket to go with the shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Let's
So I'm
go.
excited about it. I'm excited to see you. Not sure if you're going to any other lock-ins this year, but if you're not, maybe I can convince you to come way over here to
Mm.
Virginia and hang out with us at the office. You and Marissa. I'm gonna
Oh,
call Marissa and see if I
yeah.
can get both of y'all. Okay.
All right, all right. Hey, I appreciate you again hosting this space, and everybody out there. You guys are here on this call for a reason. I promise you that fire that you have, that desire you have, it's that is your gift. And you have to choose how far do you want to take that gift? Because things are going to get uncomfortable. Things are going to be inconvenient. Like, just push through. You guys are all here already. This is the hardest part. The hardest part was getting your license. I'm like, oh my gosh, now you have your license. What are you going to do with it? Right? You're all here. Let's freaking crush it the rest of this. I mean, tomorrow's a holiday. I'm dialing. I'm going to go help some veterans out. I'm going to help whoever. Hey, yo, they got me working.
Hey.
They got me working today. Hey, how's it going? Boom, go back to the script. Don't worry about inconveniencing other people because they filled out the form, and just remember why you're here. Keep pushing through. But yeah, love you guys, and I'll see you in person next. So
Hey, you heard it here first. Thanks, Des. Hearts out to you, girl. You
mhm.
know I'm your East Coast girl.
Yeah.
Anytime you need something, I know you my West Coast girl. We got
Yeah.
this on lock everywhere in between. Ladies, don't forget to text me. Join the Thrive WhatsApp. You know, I'm always posting something motivational throughout the week, and then always ensuring that you are staying on top of what we have for Thrive. And I will also keep everyone posted as we are working through developments to have a women's conference. That's the next vision. All of you are a part of it. And I just can't wait to see you all at the next event. So have a great day. And everybody be safe tomorrow. Be responsible. And if you're thinking about me when you're dialing, because I'll be dialing too. Good night, everybody.
Good night.